The paddock didn't need a press release. It only needed a smile. When Fabio Quartararo cracked a knowing grin in response to yet another question about his future, the MotoGP world instantly went into overdrive. Cameras zoomed in, whispers spread, and suddenly one of the most explosive rumours of the season was back at full volume. Quartararo to Honda. What made it more combustible was the timing. With tensions already high and major manufacturers quietly positioning themselves for the next cycle, that single gesture from the 2021 world champion felt less like coincidence and more like a spark thrown onto dry grass. Fans speculated, rivals watched closely, and Yamaha felt the heat. Then came the response. Yamaha's senior management finally broke their silence. And they did so with an edge that revealed just how sensitive the situation has become. Calm on the surface, yes, but beneath it, the pressure was unmistakable. The rumour of Fabio Quartararo potentially switching to Honda has once again become a dominant topic in the MotoGP paddock. While no official confirmation has emerged, the renewed speculation was fueled by Quartararo's relaxed and smiling demeanour when questioned about his long-term future. A reaction that the many interpreted as far from accidental. Yamaha's team boss moved swiftly to address the situation, insisting the factory remains composed and fully focused on maintaining a strong working relationship with its star rider. According to Yamaha, Quartararo's body language should not be misread as a signal of imminent departure, but rather as a sign of maturity and confidence in handling the relentless rumour mill that follows top-level riders. The Japanese manufacturer was keen to stress that performance, not politics, remains the cornerstone of its strategy. Yamaha openly acknowledged that on-track results are the decisive factor in retaining rider loyalty, particularly when competitors like Honda are actively rebuilding and searching for a proven leader to spearhead their resurgence. Within Yamaha, Quartararo's smile is seen less as provocation and more as quiet self-assurance. Despite avoiding any definitive public statement about the Honda link, sources suggest the Frenchman remains in close and ongoing discussions with Yamaha regarding the direction of the team's long-term project. A project that will determine whether he sees his future in blue. From Yamaha's perspective, contract negotiations and exploratory conversations are simply part of MotoGP's reality. The team emphasized that speculation will not dictate their approach, choosing instead to double down on technical development and internal stability as the season progresses. The deeper issue, however, is strategic. Honda's interest, real or perceived, places Yamaha in a position where promises must be matched by progress. Quartararo has been patient, but patience in MotoGP is finite. His continued competitiveness and Yamaha's ability to deliver a bike capable of winning again will ultimately decide whether these rumours fade or explode into fact. For now, Fabio Quartararo continues to smile, unbothered by the noise around him. Whether that smile reflects confidence in Yamaha's future, leverage in negotiations, or simply a champion enjoying the chaos remains the paddock's hottest unanswered question as another high-stakes weekend approaches. Behind the scenes, rival teams are reading the situation very differently. In MotoGP, silence can be as loud as a signed contract, and Quartararo's refusal to shut down the Honda talk outright has only encouraged speculation that something more serious may be brewing. Senior figures up and down the pit lane are acutely aware that when a rider of his caliber keeps options open, it is rarely without reason. Honda's shadow looms large over the entire discussion. Despite recent struggles, the Japanese giant remains one of the most powerful forces in the sport, armed with vast resources and an urgent need to reset its competitive direction. A rider like Quartararo represents not just speed, but credibility. The kind of figure who can anchor a long-term rebuild and attract top technical talent back to the project. For Yamaha, the stakes could hardly be higher. Quartararo is not merely their lead rider, he is the face of the brand's modern MotoGP era. Losing him would represent more than a change of personnel. It would be a symbolic blow that could redefine Yamaha's standing on the grid at a critical moment in the championship's evolution. Internally, Yamaha engineers are said to be under intense pressure to accelerate development. Incremental gains may no longer be enough. Quartararo has consistently been vocal about the bike's limitations, particularly in areas where rivals have made significant strides. Delivering a genuine step forward soon may be the only way to turn reassurance into reality. The rider himself remains a study in contrast. On track, his frustration has been visible at times. Off it, his composure never seems to crack. That contrast is precisely what makes his public demeanour so intriguing. Quartararo understands the power of perception, and in a sport driven by narratives as much as lap times, every gesture carries weight. What complicates matters further is the broader rider market. Several contracts are approaching pivotal moments, and a single high-profile move could trigger a chain reaction across multiple teams. Quartararo sits at the centre of that potential domino effect, whether he intends to or not. As the weekend draws closer, Yamaha's message is clear. Focus on the job at hand, block out the noise, and let performance do the talking. Yet in MotoGP, results and rumours often run in parallel, and managing both can be just as demanding as fighting for podiums. Until concrete decisions are made, the speculation will continue to swirl. And as long as Fabio Quartararo keeps smiling, the paddock will keep guessing, wondering whether that calm expression masks certainty, strategy, or the opening move in MotoGP's next major storyline. What adds another layer of intrigue is how carefully Quartararo has chosen his words this season. Gone are the blunt critiques that once defined his public frustration. In their place is a more measured tone, one that suggests a rider acutely aware of timing and leverage. In the paddock, that shift has not gone unnoticed. Veterans read it not as contentment, but as calculation. The behaviour of a champion who knows his value and is prepared to let teams draw their own conclusions. Yamaha, meanwhile, faces a delicate balancing act. Publicly, the message is unity and patience. Privately, the urgency is far sharper. Development milestones are no longer abstract targets but deadlines with consequences. Every update, every test, every race weekend now carries extra significance, not just for championship points, but for the long-term stability of the project. In that context, Quartararo's future is inseparable from Yamaha's technical credibility. Honda's position only intensifies the pressure. Even without formal talks being acknowledged, their presence in the background reshapes the conversation. The idea of Quartararo in red is compelling precisely because it feels plausible, a meeting of mutual need rather than a romantic gamble.